Ionic bonding occurs when two oppositely charged ions are attracted to each other by electrostatic forces. This occurs when you have electron transfer. So if we take this example here, we have a sodium atom. The nucleus is represented by the blue circle, and then you have the electron orbits. The first shell, the first circle with 2 electrons, can only contain 2 electrons maximum. And then the second shell can contain 8 electrons maximum. So the first shell can have 2 electrons. The second shell can have 8 electrons. And then subsequent shells, the third shell, as you see here, has 1 electron in it, but it could contain as many as 8 electrons as well. So the first shell contains as many as 2 electrons, and then any shell higher than that can contain 8 electrons. So you see sodium has 1, 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, so that's 10 electrons, and then 1 in the third shell, so it has 11 electrons total. And we see down here you have chlorine with its 17 electrons. It's got 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell, and 7 in the third shell. And so what happens here is that chlorine needs 1 electron to gain a full shell configuration. And if sodium loses 1 electron, then its second shell will be full. So what happens is this electron here, sodium's outermost electron, its 1 valence electron, gets transferred to the chlorine atom. And now the chlorine atom has 8 electrons in its third shell. So it has a full outer shell. And so does sodium. Right now, sodium goes back to the second shell being full, 8 electrons in the second shell, and it gains a positive charge. Since it is missing 1 electron, now it has 1 more proton than the number of electrons, so it gains a net positive 1 charge. And the chlorine atom has 8 electrons in its outer shell, so it has a full outer shell, which is what the atoms strive for, and it gains a negative 1 charge. So now they have opposite charges, and they're close together, right? This doesn't happen separately. They come together because those charges are opposite, and electrostatic forces bring them together. So in the end, you have sodium chloride, which is an ionic compound. And keep in mind, it's not just 1 ion of sodium, 1 ion of chlorine, right? In an actual ionic compound, you have billions of ions coming together to form a crystal of ionic compound.